Good day, everyone, and welcome to Sparkles of Love's Transmissions. Today is episode 43 here on July 24th. My name is Ana-La-Rai, and my company is Sparkles of Love. And my purpose here in Sparkles of Love is to bring forth the newest energies, messages, and information for you to really move forward or leap forward on your spiritual path. So each week I do about a half hour live here on YouTube, trying to give you new information or ideas and suggestions on your journey. And I'm also been doing the last couple of months a lot of YouTube shorts. And so you can find them here on my channel as well. So I hope you will like and subscribe. All right. So today our topic is working and playing with crystals. Okay. So crystals are some of my favorite things, as you can probably see. They're all over my house. And but I've been doing a lot of short videos, just under 2 minutes, where the crystal comes forth and talks, gives you a message about what they're used for. And so I thought it made sense to do a little longer one to tell you a little bit more. So we're going to look at what are the purposes of crystals and where you can place them in your home, some of the things, crystal layouts, how to buy them, how to clear them. So just general information about crystals. So all right. So the most important thing that you need to know right now is that crystals are changing. And by that, what I mean is that if you have one of the books, I know I've had used many of them. I'm just thinking I can't grab one here right now. And there are great crystal books out there, the Crystal Bible, Love is in the Earth, and many, many more that have been um, very helpful in terms of when you started out with crystals. And they had a lot of information about what the crystals do and all of that. And that information is still valid, but newer information is coming forth. So the crystals aren't all going to be the same thing they used to be. So rose quartz isn't only about love anymore. Okay. And so the crystals are changing because of the vibrations on planet Earth and new frequencies coming in. So they're opening up to being more. Okay. So take a look at the video shorts. I think I've done at least 14 or 15 of them, and there's more coming where they just talk to you. So it is exciting, it is exciting that things are changing. It's just another sign of the Great Awakening. So I thought I'd start by talking about some of the purposes of crystals, and feel free to write your questions in. I'll try and answer them probably closer to the end. And I have some show and tell for you. All right. So in our house, what we use crystals for is anchoring energy. Okay. So for us, uh, we use them for many things, but they help hold the energy in our house because we have a high vibration here. So for us, they help anchor and hold that beautiful vibration. And another thing that crystals can do a little bit different is hold energy for you. You can ask a crystal to hold a specific frequency or energy for you. Okay. Um, the other thing that sometimes crystals can do is they can help block the energy. So we always put some on our around a border of our property because we don't want certain energies to come in. And when we've done a gathering, often we would put some raw rose quartz across the doorway so that it kept any other energies, specific energies out that we didn't want in that space. And of course, crystals can help with your healing, right? Help hold your vibration. Some people, they help with their sleep. There's certain crystals, that will help you with your sleep. Okay. Another one I think many people know is they help with meditation, right? You can gaze into a crystal or you can hold it or have it around you when you're wanting to meditate. Um, I have some here on my desk. Well, I have lots of them on my desk, but they can help you concentrate, right? And even crystals, and here's a different thing, crystals can be used to do work with you, right? So this particular sunstone was carved into a pendulum, and so I work with this crystal, or well, I have a whole bunch of them, and I can use them for work. Okay. And another thing, of course, I can't forget. Whoops, this way. Nope, that way. No, they're that way. I can't get this straight. It's different on the video. Is they're just beautiful, right? They're part of your decor in your home, or they certainly are here. And every room in our house has crystals in it. So those are some of the purposes that we use crystals for. There's so many, and you can use one of them or all of them, and we use different crystals for different things. So there's lots of purposes for crystals, and I'm sure as they continue to unfold energetically, there will be more. Is there anything else you use crystals for? If there is, just let me know. Um, oh, some people use them. Oh, I don't. Um, we have a water jug that's like this. It's called, I think it's called Vital Jewel. Sorry, I don't remember the name. And they're out of Austria, I think. And you put your drinking water in it, but it has a beautiful tube in it with a that's closed, that's filled with crystals. So they energize the water that we drink. So that's another way that you can use one. Ah, yeah. So Urik is saying he uses Larimar to balance himself and uses it for water, uses crystals for water. All right. So where can you place your crystals? Okay, because there's lots of places, and maybe you haven't thought about all of them. If you own your property, or even if you're renting, you can put them on the corners of the property, right? Or near the driveway. Okay. We've placed crystals here around our property, just not necessarily big ones. I don't want anyone to see them or find them, but we've placed them around to help hold the energy of our property. Some people like to place crystals at their entrances, at the door. Okay. So they're not so concerned about their property, or maybe they're in an apartment building or condo. So it's at the door of their house. We usually have them under our bed as well. Now, if you're really sensitive, and that might be a little bit much for you, but we usually have some crystals under our bed. Just got to make sure that you find the one that helps you sleep. Okay. Um, so you can have them anywhere in your house, right? As I said, we have some in every single room of the house, and we have multiple altars in the house, plus what you're seeing here. Um, we put them in the garden where we're growing vegetables and fruits. So sometimes there's a crystal in there that just helps the plants. Okay. Um, I usually have some in my pockets or in my purse. I have a little pouch that I have 5 different crystals in my purse all the time. And I'm often wearing crystals, right? These are aquamarines, and I'm often wearing the crystals. And some people, and I know that have done construction, when they're building a house, they'll put the crystals in the foundation that's being built. Okay. And once, many years ago, a lady I knew that in Northern Ontario that owned a crystal store, she had her husband build their fireplace with huge chunks of amethyst in it, like with the pointing out, so you saw them. So, and another thing I've seen is sometimes, like right now, it's all the rage to have quartz countertops in your kitchens. Well, those are stone; those are actual quartz crystals, right, in a raw form. Um, Let's see what else I had here. And often put them under my pillow for sleeping as well. So there's lots of things and places you can put your crystals, as we said, also maybe in your water bottle or in your drinking glass. So you can place your crystals in all kinds of places, wherever you really feel best about that, right? So In my country, there's a big spa and sauna place with lots of crystals. It's magical. Oh, that's in Germany. Wow, that sounds cool. That would be really cool. Oh, yeah. So I want to talk a little bit about playing with crystals. And for me, one of the fun ways to play with crystals is to do layouts, crystal layouts. And sometimes they're called altars for me. So an altar is when, and Christian and I do them together. We have one in our bedroom and one in a big window that juts out in our kitchen, is where we do a very specific layout with a specific purpose that we really tune into, and it's very sacred. So the one in our bedroom, we're just about to change this week because we got that it was time to change it. The cleaning lady had been in there and moved all the crystals and touched them, which ruined the whole energy of it. And we have a different one in the kitchen that is very much a working altar for the planet. So altars are when you set the energy. If you have a lot of crystals and you do spiritual work, it's always good to have at least one altar in your house. And usually not in a public place. It would be more in a room that you use more often, or maybe you share with your significant other. And the altar can be big or small. It can have pictures or flowers on it. It really is, it could have affirmations, what you want on it, what you're trying to manifest or what you're wanting to do, and the crystals help hold the energy. Um, I used to do layouts on my bed. I still do occasionally. In fact, there's a big crystal on my bed right now, on our bed right now. So layouts are a really fun way to get to know your crystals and play. And it's just like, when you were a kid and you played with rocks or played building sandcastles and that, and you do it with crystals. And you can use as many or as little crystals as you want. So if you're doing your bed and you're going to get in that night, you probably don't want to do a whole lot. Um, but you might want to do one out in your backyard or in your living room. I knew someone who used to do crystal layouts in their living room floor, and they'd leave it for days. They had no pets and they would just leave it as long as they were guided to. So we always do a crystal layout when we go to a hotel. So Christian always brings a bunch of crystals and they go out on the bed before we get in that night. So we let the bed get charged up and released of any other energies from anybody else. So that's one. Um, and we always do an altar and a crystal layout when we're doing a gathering. So we usually do one in our room that we're staying in the hotel. But then for the gathering, we do a very, very specific, the spiritual retreat, a very specific layout, always guided by the beings of light we're working with. And it's for that gathering. Okay. And they're always so different. There's never been two altars or crystal layouts for us that are the same. So I'm going to show you some. I printed some pictures. I asked for free Google images. So I'm going to show you some other people's crystal layouts. But again, it comes from your heart. Some people use boards and do a layout on a board, but just play, have fun with it. And it's really interesting when you start to do crystal layouts that if you um, move a crystal, you can feel the energy change, right? If you think, oh, let me try this on the other side, you can really feel the change. So here's one, and they've used a quartz and smoky. They've put a heart in the center, and then they've got some loose stones and some kind of like scepter or pillars. Okay. Simple, but lovely. Okay. That's one. And here's another one. Hopefully this shows up. So they've used some beach rocks that they found in the size of hearts. Now in the center, this one is standing up. It's probably a bigger crystal, and they've got flowers on it, and they've got little other crystals on top of the rocks. They've got a circle here. You can see here where they've got an outer circle, right? So that's another one. This one's huge, and they have a lot of tumbled stones and a couple of points. And it's on a glass table. Hopefully you can see that. And I'll ask Christian to put these images below as well. Again, so it's just circular. They've got a center crystal that's standing up, and they've gone around and around, and then it ends up in points. And you can probably feel the difference, right? And we don't know what the intention was when these were created, right? And here's one I found online that I thought was stunning, and it's by Gemma Stone Spirit. And of course, I like these colors. So you've got some quartz, some amethyst, what looks like might be some turquoise or aquamarine, maybe some chrysocolla, it's hard to tell, maybe some sodalite. And she's been very specific, she or he has been very specific about the layout. Okay, so Chris, you're saying tell us which ones, but I don't know what you're asking. I know, isn't that cool? So, but crystal layouts are a great place to play, right? I mean, you can buy boards, you can use the Tree of Life, people do different things, but just play with it. And you'll feel it's like if you tune in at all or are intuitive at all, you'll feel when the energy is right. It's like it locks in. It's like when you're doing a tumbler lock or, an old locker that you're trying to do a twist on and you have to go 3 right and 11 left and then all of a sudden you feel it lock in. It's the same thing when you do a crystal layout, right? So just have fun with it, and you can leave them as long as you feel guided. You could change them every day. Um, our big altars tend to stay several months, and then all of a sudden we get a hit that no, it's time to change it. And I listen. So even no, this way, even all of these when I did this, they told me like one row you can probably see the second bottom is almost all rose quartz and pink stones. If you go up where it says sparkle, those are all quartz. And above that we have a row of amethyst and some of mixed colors. So the crystals really told me who wanted to be together. Okay. Um, let's see, did I have other places? Yeah, but it's fun. Just play with it. And like I said, you can start your crystal layout with 4 crystals, big or small. And or you can start and have lots and lots of crystals. It's just fun. And another one in terms of location, you can have when you're redoing Christian's just redoing a floor and putting in a wooden floor. And so we're going to put some crystals underneath the floor, right? Just some little tumbled ones. So again, wherever you feel guided. Okay. So cleansing and clearing crystals. So, but I think before we do that, I want to talk about buying crystals because most of us go to the store and buy them. Sometimes we're lucky we find them if we live near a place, and sometimes we get them gifted to us. But most of the time, if you're like me, you probably end up buying them. And I like sparkly, shiny things. As you probably know, my company is called Sparkles of Love. So I'm drawn to the pretty ones right away. It's like, whoa. And like, I'll show you this one, like this one, right? It's like, whoa, lots of color, beautiful blue, weighs a ton. This one weighs a ton. And that was Appetite, by the way. So I'm drawn to the shiny ones, but our house is so filled with crystals that I really need to be careful now. And I went to a gem show on the weekend and brought a few home. And I now try to be a little more careful when I'm buying, but for me the most important thing is how do they feel? So they're all beautiful. They're all beautiful, but I perceive them as living beings, as crystals are alive energy. So what I do with them is show this big one here. This is well, is I put them on my heart. Oh, I've got my crystals there. And I usually close my eyes, yeah, in the store, in the warehouse where I'm shopping, and I just feel them. Or if they're smaller, like this little Afghanite, then I just hold it in my hands and I feel it. And how does it make me feel? Does it feel peaceful? Do I go because it's so strong? Or does it feel cold or warm? What do I want? And what I do often when I'm looking for crystals, if there's a whole bunch of the same kind, I'll go like this. I'll put my hand over and I'll start to feel them. And then for me, I feel the pulse of energy. So I go down and there's probably one that wants to come home. I also hear them, but I know everybody doesn't. And some people feel cold, some people feel hot. So feel them, scan them, put your hand over if there's a table of crystals. And if you can do it with your eyes closed and you're scanning, you'll start to feel one that you're more aligned with or wants to come home with you. Oh, great question, Paula. Have any new crystals contacted you to say they're ready to be discovered? So that's interesting. Karila, the being of light who's going to eventually replace Mother Gaia, um, has told me that there are going to be new crystals coming. And but I haven't been contacted yet. I don't know of any. I haven't found any. I know that there are new crystals being found on the earth, which I think is so cool. But no, they haven't. Uh, And Paul says, I can generally get an energetic charge when I find the right ones. Yeah. Now, my challenge is sometimes I go into a crystal store and so many of them want to come home because they don't like the energy there. If the person isn't awake and it's just rocks, um, but obviously I can't do that. So when you're buying them, I'm a little bit off traffic here. You want to feel them, you want to hold them, and you're best to buy them by feel if you can. And yeah, so you bought a new crystal. Let's say you bought a new crystal and you're bringing it home. Okay, what you want to do when you get it home is you want to cleanse it. Okay, you don't know, like maybe this came from Brazil, maybe it came from Russia, maybe it came from China, maybe it came from somewhere in South Africa. I don't know where it came from. Not that there's anything wrong with those countries. They come out of the earth pure and ready to work. But you don't know how many people have touched this before it got to your house. The miner, the miner supervisor, the buyers, the negotiators, the people moving them, the people who are cutting them, all of those things are factors, the store buyers. So it's really, really important that you clear them. Okay. And so, how can you clear a crystal? There's lots of different ways, and you can Google all these things as well. Um, Full moon, you put them out in the moonlight, in the full moon, either on your windowsill or out in your yard where they can get the full moon. Okay. That's easy to do if you have a few. When your house is full, that's a little different. We take new crystals often and bring them to the ocean because we live on the ocean and we dip them in the ocean. And that's really a cool thing to do. Some people bury them in salt. They have dishes of salt to cleanse them. Other people bury them in the earth. So if it's the only time I've ever done that is if a crystal has been misused and it's really, really negatively charged, I might bury it in the earth for a period of weeks. But it's not, I forget they're going to be there. So it's not something I do as much. You can use sound if you have Tibetan bells or crystal bowls or sing. You can cleanse them with sound. And some people simply use their breath and set their intentions to clear the energy on the crystal. All right. So lots and lots of different ways. I think my favorite is the ocean, but or you know zapping them sometimes. But so you want to do that. And the most of us know that they say there's several crystals that never need clearing. So, and there were four of them. And I went in yesterday because when I was preparing for this, and I thought, I wonder if that's still true. And they weren't all the same. So I'm going to tell you the ones that are still showed up as not need clearing. And the first one was selenite. Okay. And I don't have any, I have selenite here in my room, but oh, wait, I can maybe reach this. This is, so selenite is white and it's got all these striations on it. And this one's just been cut in this way. But selenite, you get all kinds of shapes. It's kind of shiny. Okay. I'm trying to get but selenite is a form of salt. So you can't wash it, right? It'll dissolve if you put it in water. But selenite still doesn't need cleaning. So there were only two. And the other one, I don't, again, I can't reach them. I didn't think to bring them, is kyanite. It's a blue one. And there's black kyanite and blue kyanite. I think there's even green. And it also still doesn't need cleaning. Now, citrine, which was one of the four previously, still needs occasional cleaning, it told me. And some people believe quartz never needs cleaning. And the quartz told me that is not the case. So quartz needs cleaning. Okay. Or clearing occasionally. And the thing is, if it feels yucky to you, it feels off, then cleanse it. All right, so question. Does size matter when it comes to crystals? And I'm going to say yes. So if you're looking at buying crystals, you would be better energetically to purchase one larger one than 3 or 4 tiny ones. But some of the crystals that come out are tiny, 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 right? So, okay, I'll use an example. I have this one, okay, quartz, and I have this one. They can both do all kinds of things, okay? They can help you in many ways. But if I have the choice and I have the money, this one is my better option because it can hold more energy. Now, I did not know that when I started purchasing crystals many years ago. So my house is filled with many smaller crystals, and some things only come in small size, right? But now, in general, if I'm buying, I tend to buy larger. Okay. So, Paula's saying, I was in a crystal store that used a singing bowl, and they put the crystal in, and they did a swipe with the wand and allow the crystal singing bowl to clear it. Oh, I love that. Yeah, that's a great way. You can just play the bowls around them too. All right, so I want to show you some raw stones and some polished or carved stones, and I want to talk a little bit about that. And okay, so most of us probably have some polished stones. This one is apatite. It's been made into a sphere. Okay. This one is raw emerald, right? So it's not a jewelry emerald. It's raw emerald. You can see the emerald in there, right? With some other things in it. And it's been carved and polished. This quartz is carved and polished. And this quartz is carved and polished, right? So let me show you some raw stones. This is raw azurite, which is the dark blue, and there's a little bit of malachite in it, which, oops, my finger's on it, which is the green, most likely from Afghanistan. Raw azurite and malachite. This is celestite, And whenever you get a geode like this, where you see the crystals inside something, you know it's raw. Okay. Here is raw amethyst that's come out of the earth with tips of, you see, right? There's a little bit of citrine on it too. Very pale. Some people call this spirit amethyst. And this one, surprisingly, is also raw. And you can tell when you see it because it has, you probably can't tell that, all these striations on it, right? It's not perfect, right? That's how she grew. That's raw, okay? Um, this is raw aquamarine. Doesn't look like any of my jewelry, but this is a beautiful piece of raw aqua. And this is a scepter from Madagascar. These are raw. This is how it comes out of the earth. Now, I don't know. There are so many bumps and lines on it. There you go. So this has not been put in an acid bath. It has not been polished, but this is mega powerful. And then any of you that have been to Herkimer in the USA, you know there's something called Herkimer crystals or Herkimer diamonds. They look like diamonds. This is a great big one. And this comes out raw looking like, this particular one looks like this. This is an unusual Herkimer. I traveled to there and got this. I didn't dig it up though. They're usually very tiny and they look like diamonds, but that's how they come out. Okay. So, which is better? Is there a better? Cut, carved, polished, or raw? And the thing is, they serve different purposes. You know, I love the fact that I can stand this on my desk. I love the fact that I can put my sphere on a little, well, this is a napkin ring, but a little sphere holder and have it near me. I love that this will stand on her own. Okay? But there is a different energy in raw crystals. Now, I believe, and what the crystals have told me is that in the beginning, when crystals were being found and used and carved, and is that they agreed to it, right? To come forth, they agreed to be carved and polished. It changes the energy slightly. Sometimes it focuses the energy, right? And sometimes people use something like this to feel the focus. And if you bring it to your hand, you can feel the energy coming straight out the point, right? So for a healing crystal, you want to point on it very often, right? So the shape can and if it was polished, can change the energy, not always for the negative. It might focus it more. It might make it softer, right? Because it rolls around. And this is great to play with in your hands. Sometimes the rough ones aren't, or to roll along your body, right? So the different shapes can adjust how the energy goes. And I think that what I have started doing again, because in the beginning I was so drawn by my eyes were so drawn by the beautiful ones. A lot of mine are polished and cut. Okay. But more and more now, I tend to always try and get some raw. And even in my jewelry, I try to buy some raw stones because they hold a really strong energy. Okay. They haven't been adjusted yet, right? They haven't been adjusted. And, but they're all happy to work and play with us. And if you tune in, they'll tell you where they want to be in your house. And sometimes they want to be partnered. So I picked up some crystals the other day and I was trying to decide which of the pillars I wanted. It was a type of cobalt, a pink cobalt. And the funny thing was, I was choosing between the 3 of them, and I got very clearly they all wanted to be together. So, good thing they were on half price because I ended up coming home with all 3 of them. So, sometimes they're in partners or groupings, so you just wanna tune in when you're purchasing or when you're placing them together. They get to have buddies, and they work and the energy works well together, okay? Um, so if you can get some raw stones because I think you'll find it quite different. All right. So what other questions do you I know I've gone over my usual time, but what other questions do you have about crystals in general? And thank you that you've had some great questions. Anybody have any questions? And if you're looking on my website, sparklesoflove.love, and you go into the shop, you'll see there's a couple of meditations around crystals. There's one about the crystals of Atlantis, and there's also Merlin did a few years ago a meditation about where he would charge a crystal for you. And you have to have a crystal when you do the meditation. So there's some options in there if you're looking to get a little more information on crystals. But what I would suggest is take a look at I could probably tell you, take a look at my YouTube shorts, and I can tell you what's coming up there because we've got them ready to go. Oops. So we're posting them every couple of days, not minutes. And the crystals are really enjoying it. Okay, so coming up is rhodonite, which is a pink crystal. Labradorite is coming up. Black tourmaline, rhodochrosite, and the one we released just yesterday was pink agate. Okay. So those are the ones that are coming up. If there's any in particular you would like, let me know. And as long as I have it here in my house, I'm more than happy to do little messages from the crystals. All right. Thank you very much for being here, everybody. I will see you next Thursday with another live. And I really appreciate it if you like and subscribe. Bye for now, everybody. Enjoy your crystals. Have fun playing with them.